It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The Weather Bureau is forecasting strong and gusty winds along the Hunter's coastline this afternoon as a low-pressure system deepens off the coast. Damaging southerly winds gusting up to 90 kilometres per hour are possible, but are expected to ease early tomorrow morning as the system moves offshore. The SES is advising residents to secure loose items outside the home and move cars away from trees. Design changes have been made to the proposed M1 link to Raymond Terrace following community consultation. Under the changes, access will be improved to the Hunter Botanic Gardens from the Pacific Highway. An entry ramp has been moved further south to allow northbound motorists out of Newcastle to join the freeway earlier, and the interchange on Old Punt Road will be improved to minimise impact on the proposed gas-fired power plant at Tomago. However, construction of the long-awaited link isn't expected to start for another 3 years. Historic changes will be made to the National Parks and Wildlife Act to better protect significant plant species in the Hunters National Parks. The changes form part of the state government's response to the New South Wales bushfire inquiry, allowing fire management plans to be created which protect species such as the Wallamai pine. The pine exists only in the Wallamai National Park, which spans across the Lower Hunter. Naomi Stevens from National Parks says having the plans ahead of time will be vital.
We create barriers to the progress of fire towards the pines. We clear vegetation or we use water bombing. There's numbers of strategies that we can employ, and we can do it ahead of the fire arriving at the location to ensure the long-term protection of the pines.
It coincides with a $29 million boost to the service. Hunter restaurants and cafes will be forced to implement a QR code sign-in system to help keep patrons COVID safe. The state government has confirmed the digital service will be made compulsory when borders with Victoria reopen on November 23. Cafe and restaurant owners who don't adhere to the changes will face fines and possible closure. The state government and local councils are committing to a funding partnership to support arts organisations across the Hunter. From next year, funding will be available for local artists and allow better cultural and development programs. Regional Arts Executive Director Mark Reedman says the funding will allow artists to work independently.
We like to spend as much as we can on artists, so it'll be artists running workshops, basically. Just means developing the local arts community. So, giving them more capacity to do their own work and work with their communities, which is great.
2NURFM Sport.
Player coach Josh Rose's Edgeworth Eagles are looking forward to Sunday's grand final match against the Magpies after a long rest between games. The Eagles haven't played since defeating Adamstown and Broadmeadow in the Northern New South Wales NPL, but Maitland have won their last 6 matches. Rose has told NBN the return to play after a few weeks off might be the key to facing their opponents.
They have a number of key players that can, score at any given moment. Creeley, Clarkey, some of those guys that play up front, Woodsy, they're great players, and we're going to really try and make it as difficult for them as possible to give us every chance to win.
Lake Macatac and their rivals Newcastle Blasters will be set for an uncomfortable bus trip to Sydney when they face off in the Regional Bash semi-finals in January. The teams will travel in the same coach to and from the match, regardless of the outcome, with representative coach Shane Burley in charge of both sides simultaneously. Charlestown fast bowler Rory Madison is hopeful to make a spot on the team after taking 4 wickets in each of his games last weekend. And with the 2020 Jack Newton Celebrity Classic cancelled this year, plans are underway for the tournament to reappear next year better than ever. The 36-hole tournament was set to be held at the Hunters Crown Plaza, but was postponed for the first time in 41 years due to restrictions on travel. That's sport. I'm Sam Bartlett.
And the winning numbers in Wednesday Lotto are 14, 27, 18, 20, 1 and 36. And the supplementaries are 4 and 15. 2NURFM News Time, 25 to 9.